Hello, ma'am.
Rekha ma'am, you're audible. You can proceed.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Listening is a magnetic and strange thing, a creative force. Then friends who listen to us are the one we move toward. When we are listened to, it creates us, make us unfold and expand. Honorable Secretary and Director Madam, respected Principal, Dean Academics, and my dear teachers, a happy good afternoon to all. It is indeed a great pleasure to welcome you all to webinar series on Vistas in the field of research and innovation organized by Kongunadu Arts and Science College, Coimbatore. To be inspired is great, but to be an inspiration is an honor. It's my pleasure to extend a cordial welcome to our Honorable and respected Secretary and Director Madam Dr. C.A. Vasugi, Kongunadu Arts and Science College, to this beautiful occasion. It's pleasant duty to welcome our beloved, respected Principal Dr. M. Lakshmanaswamy, respected Dr. S. Palswamy, Dean R&D, and respected Dr. S. Madan Sankar, Dean Academic, Kongunadu Arts and Science College, for this wonderful occasion. It's my pleasure to extend a cheerful welcome to our today resource person, Dr. R. Tirunjana Sambandam, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Kongunadu Arts and Science College. I extend my convivial welcome to convener Dr. D. Vijay Lakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, and coordinator Dr. M. Vigneshwaran, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, for this gathering. I would like to extend a genial welcome to organizing secretaries Dr. M. Revati Bala, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Commerce PG, and Mr. N. Sendil Kumar, Associate Professor of Computer Technology, Kongunadu Arts and Science College, for this occasion. I extend my hearty welcome to all participants for this learning occasion. It's my great honor and privilege to introduce today's resource person, Dr. R. Tirunjana Sambandam, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Kongunadu Arts and Science College. Dr. R. Tirunjana Sambandam completed his MSc, MPhil and postdoctoral degree in Bardhan University, Coimbatore. He also cleared a SEC examination. He has 10 years of working experience as an assistant professor in PG and Research Department of Biotechnology and 1 year of teaching experience as an assistant professor in PG and Research Department of Botany, Kongunadu Arts and Science College. He also have a 11 years of research experience in the area of in vitro propagation, metabolic profiling, and molecular pharmacognosy. He received Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology Young Scientist Fellowship Award in the year 2010. In the year 2012, he received Department of Science and Technology Young Scientist Award, and also he received Indian National Science Academy Visiting Fellowship Award in the year 2013. He has completed 2 research projects under the support of funding agencies UGC, DST, Serve Fast Track, New Delhi. He is guiding 12 MPhil scholars and 2 PhD scholars and 25 MSc students. And currently, he is guided 1 PhD scholar. He has published more than 29 research papers in reputed national and international journals. He also have more than 299 citations and 10 H and I-10 index respectively. He attended more than 50 symposia, conference, training programs and workshops. I would like to invite Dr. R. Tirunjana Sambandam sir to deliver a lecture on essential oil bio perfumes. I hope we are all get more informative message through his lecture. Once again, I welcome to all for this webinar section organizing by Kongunadu Arts and Science College. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to deliver welcome speech. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon to all. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, it's audible, sir.
Shall I start?
You'll start, sir.
Okay. So thank you for nice introduction, Dr. Rekha. So I'm going to talk about essential oils, bioperfumes. So essential oils are volatile, natural, complex organic compounds containing about 20 to 60 components. They are mainly characterized by strong odor and are formed by aromatic plants as secondary metabolites. Yes, we all know very well about the secondary metabolites. Secondary metabolites are different compounds produced by plants. They doesn't have any direct role on reproduction, metabolism, and physiological activities. Secondary metabolites are mainly useful for defense activities. Such compounds are not only useful to plants, they are highly beneficial to human beings also. The essential oils also belong to the secondary metabolite categories. So three types of secondary metabolites are there. One is called as alkaloids, terpenoids, and phenolics. The essential oils falls under the categories called terpenoids. Where is it? Essential oil are present in plants in specialized cells or glands. For example, if we look at the leaf of Lamiaceae members, I mean the Tulsi family members, we can find small hair-like structures on the leaves. The hair-like structures are nothing but trichomes. The bottom portion of the trichomes are deeply embedded in the leaf, where we can find the glands. Such glands are secreting the essential oils. Meanwhile, specialized cells also present in the leaves will secrete secondary metabolites. The glands may be at anywhere on plant body, or it may be on leaves, flowers, stems, roots, bark, even on wood. But majority of the time, secondary metabolite essential oil synthesizing glands, that is as the cells, present mainly on leaves. Even sometimes we can find such cells on wood also. When these glands rupture by brushing or rubbing or heat, the smell of aroma come out. So simply by squashing the leaf itself, we can feel that aroma smell. For example, take the tulsi leaf or plactanthus leaf, just squeeze the leaf, we can smell that strong aroma smell because of the rupture of that oil glands. So oil glands are very soft and we can easily break it. So we can use either brushing method or rubbing method, or sometimes even we can use a heating method to take out the essential oils. So essential oils are mainly composed of aromatic compounds, volatile, and moreover they are hydrophobic in nature. They won't mix with water. Extraction of essential oils. See, if we see the extraction of essential oils, we can see several techniques right from the beginning. Actually, we can see this essential oil extraction technique in the ancient time also. In the ancient time, see the picture, you can see the extraction method is quite interesting, and there is a big pot. The pot was used to extract essential oils earlier days. Slowly, when the science improves, automatically several techniques has been developed, and finally the industrial scale extraction of essential oil has been achieved. You can see this. You can see that industrial scale extraction of essential oil in this picture. Meanwhile, if you want to extract the essential oils in laboratory scale for small research purpose or any analytical purpose, we can use Clevenger apparatus. By using this Clevenger apparatus, we can hydrodistillate the essential oils. After 2 to 3 hours of hydrodistillation process, we can take out the essential oil and it will be treated with sodium sulfate anhydrous. Later, the essential oil will be taken and sent for further analysis. This picture is simply the mobile unit for isolation. See, those who haven't any facility like industrial scale and any hydrodistillation apparatus like Clevenger apparatus, in India we have that mobile isolation unit. If a particular person has the raw material, either leaf, root, or stem, we can use that we can take that raw material to the mobile isolation unit, where they will extract and give the oil. Then meanwhile they will give them an idea to market the oil also. This is the mobile isolation unit for essential oil extraction. Next one is, after isolation of the essential oil, it is very important to characterize the essential oil. What are all the components present in the essential oil? This is very important. We should identify the components from the essential oil. For that, we will use gas chromatography, and gas chromatography coupled with mass spectroscopy. So after injection, what will happen? Automatically, the carrier gas will take the injected essential oil into the column where high temperature is maintained. Automatically, based on the boiling point, all the compounds present, all the components present in the oil get separated and deposited inside the column. Later, each and every compound will be taken out and it will be identified. Finally, the retention area will be retention time followed by retention index will be calculated. Further, the components will be matched with the library and we can identify the components with the help of library. Next is we can find this picture shows the peak height and the peak width. After a particular compound has been isolated inside the column, with the help of that retention time, we can identify that retention time of that particular compound. Meanwhile, the percentage of percents of that compound can be easily calculated by the peak height and peak width. Likewise, each and every component separated in the column has been easily calculated percentage wise by the software itself. Finally, we can get the results. Next, we will come to the chemistry of essential oils. Most essential oils primarily composed of terpenes. As I said earlier, essential oils are falling under the category called terpenoids, and their oxygenated derivatives mostly monoterpenes and sesquiterpenes. So simply, if we talk about essential oils, which means monoterpenes and sesquiterpenes, together with we can find phenylpropanoids also. In association with the main terpenes, the most characteristic groups present in essential oils contains alcohols, for example, citral, geraniol, nerol, etc. Aldehydes, ketones, acids, esters, oxides, and ethers also associated with these terpenes. So here you can see several important essential oil components like terpenes, citral, geraniol, nerol, etc. Next, come to the point, uses of essential oils. As I said earlier, essential oils, that is falls under category secondary metabolites. They are not only meant for defense; they have numerous benefits to human beings. For example, we will see one by one. They act as an internal messengers and defensive substances, anti-cancer agent, and cardiovascular agents. They also act against herbivores and also attracting the insects for pollination. Some essential oils, still it is believed that they behave like a pheromones. So that essential oil attracts the insects for pollination purpose. In addition to that, essential oils are also used in food industries and act as an additives, and it has antioxidant activity also. Meanwhile, not only the medicinal properties, essential oil also has the commercial value in the field of cosmetic and perfume preparation. Meanwhile, the pharmacological activities like it has analgesic activity, antimicrobial, antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, expectorant, etc., etc. They have a lot of pharmacological uses. Meanwhile, they are used as air fresheners and deodorizers. Meanwhile, we can see one important thing in association with medicinal value, commercial value, and aesthetic value. Here you can see, can you see the word called balinology? Balinology is nothing but taking bath using some aromatic compounds along with essential oils, which gives which gives more pressure to our health, and it acts as a very good refresher to our brain also. So if we generally if we talk about essential oils are widely used for medicinal, pharmacological, aesthetic, and perfume industries. But strictly speaking, as a biologist, I could say essential oils are mainly used in the antimicrobial cream preparations, anti-inflammatory cream preparations, and anti-cancer agent preparations. But meanwhile, we cannot avoid the other uses of essential oils also. Now I'm going to show you some important components present in the essential oils. For example, linaloyl acetate. Linaloyl acetate is nothing but an ethyl ester of the linalool, which is present in the plant called lavender, that is Lavandula officinalis. In mainly Lavandula genera has more amount of this linaloyl acetate. So this linaloyl acetate has more importance in perfume preparation and in perfumery industries. Likewise, linaloyl acetate, we can say another compound called limonene. As we all know very well about the citrus members. All citrus members invariably having the limonene, which is act as a natural solvent. Meanwhile, limonene has lot of biological activities also. And next one is geraniol. Geraniol is obtained from the geranium genera. Geraniol has lot of uses, like it is used to revitalize our skin. Those who have skin problems and what to say dry skin, they can use geraniol, which makes our skin more revitalized. This property geraniol gas. And next one is citral. Citral is nothing but the combination of nerol and geraniol. It is obtained from a Melissa species, Melissa genera, for example, Melissa officinalis, etc. So it acts as a antimicrobial. It will combat a common cold, and moreover it is used as a pain reliever also. And the next one is thymol. Most of us know very well about the thymus plant. The thymus plant yielding essential oil contains more amount of thymol. Thymol has antiseptic property. Antiseptic means, of course, it acts as an antimicrobial, antibacterial, and antiviral properties, and antifungal activity also. And the next one is menthol. Each one of us well known very well about the menthol. It's a natural coolant obtained from the mint plant. We cannot avoid the use of menthol because in day-to-day life we can see menthol in every product, from toothpaste to tea and chewing gums, etc., etc. It's a natural coolant. It has more commercial value also. It is obtained from the mentha plant. If we extract the mentha essential oil along with other components, we can find menthol as the major component. And next one is camphor. As we all know very well about the camphor, which is used in ritual functions and other ceremonies. It is obtained from the osmium like Osmium sanctum, Osmium canum, etc. In Osmium genera, mostly we can find eugenol as the major compound. In association with, we can find camphor also. In Osmium canum, we can find camphor as the major compound, which is used as a disinfectant. This is why we are using camphor in home for ritual purposes, because the flame which comes out of the camphor can able to kill the microbes present around us. So the camphor has this property. And next one is the caryophyllene, that is beta caryophyllene, which is nothing but a sesquiterpene, which is obtained from the rosemary plant called Rosmarinus officinalis, which is used as an anxiety reliever. So this sesquiterpene has more demand in anti-anxiety type preparations. And next one is called as like beta caryophyllene. We can see sabinine. Sabinine is obtained from the pepper. It has an antimicrobial property. These are all some commercially important constituents present in the essential oils. One thing is very important. Apart from those components, we can find several other compounds in the essential oil. Those compounds are not only having a minimal role, even though we cannot avoid such compounds, because the major activity of the major compound or important activity of the major compound is still under the support of minor compounds. So we should not avoid the minor compounds present in the essential oil also. So meanwhile, we should give much importance to major components which have more commercial value. Next, we will see commercially important essential oil yielding plants. I'm going to show you some important essential oil yielding plants commonly cultivated in India, and you might have seen such plants in and around you. First one is Rosmarinus officinalis, which is commonly called as rosemary. It belongs to the family Lamiaceae. The essential oil is obtained from the leaves of this plant, which has one very good component called verbenone. Verbenone is the major reason for this perfume, this pleasant smell of the essential oil of Rosmarinus officinalis. In association with verbenone, we can find alpha-pinene and other compounds. So Rosmarinus officinalis essential oil is useful in perfume preparation, soap preparations, and also it acts as an antioxidant. Meanwhile, this oil is recommended for treating Alzheimer's disease also, but there is no strong data available about the treatment of Alzheimer's disease using this oil, even though it is believed that this oil is used for Alzheimer's disease treatment. And next one is called as vetiver. In Tamil it is called as vetiver plant. So it belongs to the family Poaceae. The botanical name is Vetiver zizanoides. The oil has very important compound called vetiverone and vetiverol, benzoic acid and palmitic acid. Majority of we people might have come across this plant somewhere else in the barren lands or some garden areas. The root has more commercial value. The root has the essential oil. That essential oil has more amount of vetiverone. The vetiverone is very important in perfume preparations. So as I said earlier, even though the oil has more than 20, 30 or even up to 50 compounds, out of 50 components, one compound has a commercial value, which is that compound can be concentrated. Meanwhile, we cannot avoid the minor components also. When we go for biological studies, minor compounds play a very important role. That means they will play synergistically, which supports the major compounds to behave properly or to act particular microbial cell or to cancer cell properly. So in addition to that major compounds, we should concentrate that minor compounds also. Meanwhile, we know very well vetiver roots not only useful for essential oil extraction, they also act as a good soil binders and fodders, and meanwhile they are used for handicraft item making also. And next one is Artemisia pallens. All we people know very well about Artemisia pallens. It is commonly called as Davana oil. Our government, especially we people, India, earning more amount of money through the export of this Davanam oil. In Tamil, it is called as Marikolundu. The plant belongs to the family Asteraceae. It has hydrocarbons, esters, oxygenated compounds, then isodavanone and davanafurans. The both isodavanone and davanafurans are giving more commercial value to this oil. These two compounds are the major compounds, especially isodavanone is the isodavanone is the major compound present in this oil, and which has more that perfume nature. So this isodavanone and davanafurans and other components are isolated from the essential oil obtained from leaves and flowers. Meanwhile, the oil is not only used for perfume makings, it is used in garlands and religious offerings and cosmetic preparation also. We should keep in mind this Artemisia pallens, that is Marikolundu plant, has more commercial and economic value. Cultivation of such plant is very, very important. And next plant is Pogostemon patchouli. It is commonly called as patchouli plant, which belongs to the family Lamiaceae. It's a herbaceous perennial. Mainly the leaves are used to extract the essential oil. Essential oil has one very, very important compound called patchouli alcohol and pogostol. These two compounds are having more perfume nature, and they are useful in preparation of perfume, soaps, shampoos, gels, and agarbattis. Moreover, they are useful for potpourri making. Potpourri making is nothing but a mixture of aromatic leaf, dried aromatic leaves, and later we will flame it, and the smoke comes out of this dried leaves will give pleasant smell, which is normally used in houses for creating the pleasant environment. Meanwhile, not only create the pleasant environment, they have more antimicrobial and insecticidal activities also. Next plant is lavender, that is Lavandula officinalis. Several lavandula genera having essential oil property, essential yielding lavandula genera are there. Among all, Lavandula officinalis is more important because it has one the Lavandula officinalis essential oil has one important compound called lavandin. The lavandin has a very, very important property in perfume making and balm making, and moreover it is highly useful in aromatherapy and cosmetic preparation also. As like davanam oil, patchouli oil, lavender also has more commercial value. And next one is Cymbopogon plant. All we have know very well about this Cymbopogon plant. It's commonly called as lemongrass. It belongs to the family Poaceae. It's a simply grass. We can extract the essential oil from that grass. So the main component present in this oil is citral. We might have heard about citral is very, very important in cosmetic preparation and herbal tea preparation, culinary purpose, and aromatherapy, that is palynology purpose, etc., etc. And next one is well-known plant called osmium. So several osmium species are there: osmium sanctum, osmium canum, etc., etc. Among all, osmium sanctum has more commercial value. Meanwhile, we cannot avoid the osmium canum also. So, with the essential oil contains methyl chavicol, eugenol, etc. They have they have very good antioxidant, antimicrobial property. Meanwhile, they are used as an antidepressant aromatherapy also. Now, I'm going to show you some of our research papers deals with essential oils. This paper is mainly concentrated about the essential oil of Osmium canum. The essential oil isolated from the Osmium canum leaves showed more than 25 compounds, out of which the major compound is camphor, number 21, the 39.77%, nearly 40% is camphor, rest of the 60% is other compounds. So the bioactivity property or antioxidant, anti-cancer, or any other property of this Osmium canum oil is mainly associated with camphor. As I said earlier, camphor major compound alone is not essential. Meanwhile, the minor compounds also plays some role to show very good to improve the activity of major compounds. And the essential oil obtained from Osmium canum showed very good anti-cancer activity on HeLa cells. That is cervical cancer. As we all know very well about cervical cancer, this is the one of the second leading cancer in India, which is caused by human papilloma virus. So the essential oil, different concentration of Osmium canum essential oil treated HeLa cells undergone DNA fragmentation, and we can see the last line, the bottom, we can see the fragmented DNA. So which proves that Osmium canum oil is a very good anti-cancer agent. And next one is Salvia scleraea essential oil. This oil also having commercial value. We have done some studies on this oil, like hepatoprotective activity and the anti-inflammatory activity at gene level. In histopathological section, the picture A is normal liver. And look at the picture B. That is B is LPS treated, lipopolysaccharide treated. Lipopolysaccharide is obtained from the cell wall of gram-negative bacteria, which will upregulate the nitric oxide synthase gene. If nitric oxide synthase gene upregulated, automatically overproduction of nitric oxide synthase enzyme will damage the liver. So that's why we can see the liver damage in the section in the picture B, because of the LPS induced overexpressed INAS gene. Meanwhile, the essential oil treated liver section showing D, E, E and G, we can find the reduction of hepatic damage because of that essential oil. That essential oil will act as a down regulator of nitric oxide synthase gene. If the nitric oxide synthase gene is get down regulated, automatically the production of nitric oxide synthase enzyme will be minimized, so which will carry out the normal function, which will not cause any adverse effect to the liver cells. But meanwhile, nitric oxide synthase is very, very important, but induced nitric oxide synthase is very, very dangerous, which is induced by any foreign material like lipopolysaccharide or any microbial infection. In this gel picture, we can see in LAN1, we can see a normal nitric oxide synthase gene, and the first LAN1 is overexpressed nitric oxide synthase gene, that is LPS induced overexpressed nitric oxide synthase gene, that is nothing but INAS gene. Later from 2 to 5 we can see LAN 2 to 5 we can see gradual decrease of band, which indicates the essential oil treated liver cells showed decreased expression of the nitric oxide synthase gene. That's why the protein level is getting reduced. And the last one is 6 is normal nitric oxide synthase. The second line is nothing but beta actin. It's an internal marker. Next is apoptosis inducing activity of Salvia scleraea essential oil on HeLa cells. See, yes, earlier we saw the DNA fragmentation activity of Osmium canum. Likewise, here we saw here we can see Salvia scleraea essential oil on apoptotic induction on HeLa cells. See, the HeLa cells treated with essential oils showed cell breakage, blubbing, cell leakage, etc. So the Salvia scleraea essential oil not only useful in hepatoprotection and anti-inflammation, it has the property of anti-cancer also, anti-cancer property also. And quite interestingly, the next one is anti-metastatic activity of Osmium sanctum essential oil. The Osmium sanctum essential oil was used against the cancer MCF7 cells. In control cells, we can find the second picture. In control cell, we can find the overgrowth of that MCF7 cells. But in the case of right hand side, you can see there is no growth of cells in the creased area. The creased areas are treated with essential oil, which indicates the essential oil of Osmium sanctum blocks or stop the angiogenesis of the cancer cells. So Osmium sanctum is we know very well the culinary property of Osmium sanctum. Meanwhile, this study proves that Osmium sanctum also act as a very good anti-cancer. Osmium sanctum essential oil act as a very good anti-cancer agent. And next one is downregulation of anti-inflammatory genes by Osmium sanctum essential oil. Yes, like induced nitric oxide synthase gene. Here we can find one gene called matrix metalloproteinase gene. This gene is very, very important for morphogenesis and development. When this gene is get upregulated, automatically overproduction of MMP9 will be taking place, which causes inflammation in cells. So we people initially induced the isolated cells, especially that human lymphocyte cells, and later we performed the LPS treatment. The LPS treatment increased the production of MMP9, and the cells got damaged. Later we treated this lymphocytes, LPS treated lymphocytes with osmium sanctum essential oil of different concentration. Finally, the oil gradually decreased the overexpressed MMP9 gene. So, which proves that, and which so clearly shows that the oil of osmium sanctum has a lot of medicinal properties like anti-cancer, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, etc., etc. So it proves that it has MMP9 downregulation of MMP9 activity also, or anti-MMP9 activity. Meanwhile, it is unavoidable. MMP9 is very important. The purpose of studying. The purpose of this study is to know if MMP9 get overexpressed, what will happen. Automatically inflammation will occur. We tried to reduce that inflammation of overexpressed MMP9. For that we use the osmium sanctum essential oil. And next one is one more plant called Atlantsia monophylla. The plant belongs to the citrus, Rutaceae family. The major component present in this oil is beta caryophyllene. Just we checked whether this oil will protect our DNA by creating comets. Initially, different classes of comets has been created in human lymphocytes. Later, a different concentration of essential oil was added to different cells in the microtiter, and later we performed the single cell gel electrophoresis, and we found that around 100 microgram per ml concentration of essential oil showed very good DNA protecting activity. This is one of the basic study normally used to check whether our plant compound, whether essential oil or any other compound having DNA protecting activity or not. Next one is anti-cancer activity of Atlantsia monophylla essential oil. The Atlantsia monophylla essential oil was used to study the anti-cancer activity against HeLa cells. For that, 3 different staining techniques were performed: annexin, Hoy staining, and AYT. In all the staining technique, we can find that apoptosis induction by the cancer cells. For example, you can see clearly in annexin stain, the cells get damaged, and nuclear condensation and cell shrinkage, etc. So Atlantsia monophylla essential oil showed very good anti-cancer activity against HeLa cells. Now we have so far we have discussed the biological importance, that is medicinal value of the essential oils. Now it's time to discuss about how to increase the essential oil production, because we are harvesting the raw material from nature for extraction purpose. If we keep on harvesting the raw material from nature, what will happen? At one point of time, the plant will disappear from the nature. So automatically it will lead to the depletion of the entire species, and a future generation will struggle. To avoid that, it is mandatory to develop an alternative strategy to produce the essential oil in sufficient quantities. For that, we are using biotechnological tools for improved essential oil production. Simply, we can use either micropropagation technique or hairy root culture technique. After performing the micropropagation, we can check whether micropropagated plant has genetic variation with the native plant or not. After confirmation of there is no somaclonal variation, even up to 5% somaclonal variation can be allowed, I think so. Meanwhile, no problem, even up to 10% somaclonal variation, we need not worry. We can go for essential oil extraction of in vitro plant. Later, we can compare the essential oil of both in vivo plant and in vitro plant. If there is no variation in chemical composition, well and good, we can use that plant. By using a single nodal X plant, we can mass propagate more number of plants. From that plant, we can extract a required amount of essential oil. See here, I can show you one important compound called rosmarinic acid. It's a polyphenol. We know very well rosmarinic is a well-known antioxidant. The antioxidant property of rosmarinic acid is more or less equal to vitamin C. In this picture, LCMS chromatogram of elicited callus of Osmium basilicum. This is also one of the Osmium species. This Osmium basilicum callus elicited with methyl jasmonate increased the production of rosmarinic acid. Look at the picture, left hand side and right hand side. We can find the production of rosmarinic acid in elicited culture. So by using this technique, not only the polyphenol compound called rosmarinic acid, we can use this elicitation technique. We can increase the production of essential oil also. That's why I'm showing this picture. Sorry. And next is upregulation of essential oil coding in Osmium basilicum. After performing that elicitation process, just we checked whether the essential oil coding gene get upregulated or not, because the callus culture was elicited with the methyl jasmonate. We tried with several inducers like methyl jasmonate, chitosan, etc. But among all, methyl jasmonate most promising, which showed very good upregulation activity of genes in the essential oil synthesizing pathway, cyclimate pathway, methyl erythritol pathway. So in this pathway, we can find some genes. They are very, very important for essential production, like phenylammonium lyase, rosmanic acid synthase, terpene synthase. Their level has been increased, which clearly indicates the upregulated genes in the essential synthesizing pathway can definitely increase the essential oil production. So if we compare the essential oil produced by elicited plant with normal plant, definitely we can find more amount of essential oil, more amount of component essential oil. Meanwhile, the particular compound, for example, camphor is a major compound, means the camphor amount can also be increased. There may be a possibility, but sometimes down regulation also may be possible, but it is unavoidable. We can strongly say, once the gene get upregulated, definitely we can expect the more amount of increased essential oil production in with the major compound in high amount. Callus culture and cell suspension culture is most frequently used methods for increased essential oil production. See, now come to the point. If we look at our country, we can find the cultivation of medicinal plant in several areas from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, but it is medicinal plant cultivation, essential oil yielding plant cultivation is mainly restricted to north. For example, we can see Jammu Kashmir region and Uttarakhand region and some northeastern region also. The same should be taken to the other part of country, because to cultivate the medicinal plants, that is essential yielding plants, very less amount of water is required. So in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra and some other places, barren lands can be used to cultivate that essential yielding plants, through which we can uplift the life of farmers also. Now come to the point. Next is mint cultivation area. Look at the mint cultivation area. Only restricted to north, that is Uttarakhand region, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand region. So if mint is cultivated throughout India, we can export more amount of menthol to the world, because menthol has more demand all over the world. For example, look at this slide. We can see the uses of menthol present in the peppermint plant. It is used in chewing gums, pain balms, toothpaste, cigarettes, then cooling bandages, then cigars, then shampoos, tea, etc., etc. The menthol has so much of commercial medicinal properties. If we encourage our farmers to cultivate mint plant throughout India, we can produce more amount of we can extract more amount of menthol, and we can export, and we can get more amount of money also. Now, why should I? Need for divigation. Each and every year we can see in newspapers our farmers are committing suicide because of poor rainfall and low price, etc., etc. Moreover, due to natural calamities, plants sometimes, for example, commercial plants get affected. So during such conditions or those areas, especially in waterless areas, we can advise our farmers to cultivate medicinal plants, especially essential yielding plants, so through which we can increase the lifestyle of farmers also, and we can stop the death of farmers. How to improve? We don't want any special technique. We have simple culture technique like plowing the land and cultivate the medicinal plant and harvest the medicinal plant. If farmers interested, they can take it to the market, or they can go for mobile isolation unit where they can extract the essential oil. After extract the essential oil can be marketed, because Indian government is supported to selling this such a medicinal plant products in many ways. So meanwhile, need to establish a bridge between private companies and farmers and researchers and companies regulated by the government. This triangle is very, very important. And we should create awareness among the students in the schools and colleges about the commercial values of medicinal plants. One thing, we can able to produce more amount of essential oils, and we can easily export it, and we can get more amount of money. And need to open more research stations in other parts of India, which will improve the research, and the researchers in the research stations will give the ideas and suggestions to the farmers also. Thank you for watching. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. The wonderful presentation. So participants, any questions, please post the chat box.
Any questions?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for your nice presentation. Can you compare
Thank
the efficiency of the oil with the water extract?
Of course, ma'am, actually, essential oil and water extraction is entirely different. If we go for water extraction, not only essential oil, other compounds also get dissolved. So our main aim is mainly to isolate the essential oil. But if we compare the efficiency of water extract and essential oil, definitely essential oil shows very good activity when compared with water extract. But we cannot say 100% essential oil show very good activity over than water extract, but essential oil shows very good activity when compared with water extract. Meanwhile, it is unavoidable to say that water extract has also more activity than essential oil. But if you concentrate about essential oil, better isolate only essential oil, not taking water extract.
What will be the mode of treatment if you use essential oil for cancer treatment? Means what will be the mode?
Ma'am, actually, I'm not sure about the direct application of essential oil in cancer treatment. For example, while we go to the temple, we can, especially in Perumal temple, the tulsi leaf will be given to us. We will take 2 to 3 tulsi leaf, which has very small amount of essential oil. We can, chew that we can chew that leaf, and a little bit of essential oil get enter into our body. That little amount of essential oil is more than sufficient. I mean, it is very good to our health. It is more than sufficient to take any other allopathic medicine. Meanwhile, we can take that is Plactronthus sambinicus. In Tamil, it is called as Katpurvalli plant. The Plactronthus sambinicus leaf can also be chewed. By chewing this leaf, we can feel the throat infection and cold problem get relieved. For cancer treatment, I'm not sure about the direct application of essential oils. Any other questions?
Sendil sir, any other queries in the chat box?
Karniya Raja, does volatile compounds have same economic importance as that of essential oils? And is there any specific method to segregate and purify them? Actually, Karniya Raja sir, volatiles are nothing but essential oils. Essential oils are commonly called as volatiles. So for extraction of essential oils, we can use hydrodistillation method. For purification, the column chromatographic method is available. Only a method for isolation of individual components from essential oil is column chromatography. Okay, no other method is available. But if you develop specific column by using liquid chromatography, you can separate the compounds from the volatiles. Are you okay? Any other questions?
Sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, one more question.
Please.
From Gogul Ramnath.
Yes, please.
Wait, sir. On what basis we can select the extraction method, especially if we go for industrial scale production?
Better way should, I mean, your question is you are asking about raw material.
Yes, yes.
Raw material means better, for example, for some plant we can take leaf, for some time we can take root, For example, sandalwood, we can take wood for extraction of oil. Okay, so depends upon the demand and depends upon the oil present in that particular part. That may be a leaf, root, stem, or fruit, or even sometimes wood. So while going for industrial scale extraction, if the plant has more amount of oil in leaf, we can harvest leaf. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So any other
Will
questions?
this
Hello?
method
Hello?
be costly, sir?
Yes, please.
So the extraction of the oil, will this method be costly when compared to the normal extraction methods?
Ma'am, very simple. Oil extraction by using Clevenger part is very simple, hardly 2 to 3 hours, like Sartslate extraction. Like Sartslate extraction, the Clevenger part is it comes around 6 to 7,000 only, ma'am. So you can easily buy it and you can extract the essential oil. It's very simple.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank
It was a
thank
good
you.
presentation.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Hello? Hello,
Yes,
sir?
please.
Hello?
Sir, just I am asking about the extraction method procedure, whether we can go for hydrodistillation process or some other process are there. So for
Okay.
industrial scale production, which process we have to use?
You mean process means
Um, that
like
some
for
compressed
steam distillation
process
we
are
can
there.
use. Steam distillation we can use.
Steam,
Supercritical fluid extraction method we can follow.
okay,
Several
okay.
methods are available. Cold press
Which
method is available. Hot extraction is available.
okay,
But majority of the area I have seen steam distillation is followed. For example, for some components, it may get degraded at high temperature while performing
oh,
hydrodistillation. Such compounds
okay,
can be extracted by using the supercritical extraction method or any cold press method.
okay, sir, okay, okay,
Okay.
sir. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sendil sir, any other query?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Tirunana Samdam sir, for your wonderful and nice presentation. Now I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Parveen ma'am to propose the vote of thanks.
Hello. Thank you, ma'am. Shall I proceed, ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am, please.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to all. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. First of all, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Almighty God who made this event in a successful manner. I, on behalf of Kongnadu Arts and Science College, Coimbatore, express my heartfelt thanks to our President, Dr. M. Alchami Sir, and our enlightening, dynamic, courageous, strong achiever, none other than our Secretary and Director of Kongnadu Arts and Science College, Dr. C. A. Vasagi Ma'am, for giving us such an opportunity to conduct this webinar session. Thank you, ma'am. I express my deepest gratitude to our principal, Dr. M. Lakshmanaswamy Sir, for his kind encouragement. I extend my immense thanks to our Dean and R&D, Dr. S. Palsamy Sir, CEO, Dr. V. Chinnaswamy Sir, for their continuous guidance and moral support. Thank you, sirs. I record my sincere thanks to our Dean and academics of Kongnadu Arts and Science College, Dr. S. Madan Shankar Sir, for his support. I record my lovable thanks to our team members of Vistas, the convener, Dr. M. Lakshmi Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, Kongnadu Arts and Science College, the coordinator, Dr. M. Vigneshwaran, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Kongnadu Arts and Science College, and the organizing secretaries, Dr. M. Revati Bala, Associate Professor, Department of Commerce, and Mr. N. Sendil Kumar Sir, Associate Professor of Computer Technology, for their teamwork to make this webinar session in a successful way. I express my thanks to all staff members and the head of the botany department for the moral support to organize this event. I enroll my thanks to our eminent speaker, Dr. Thirungnana Samandam sir for delivering such a remarkable and a wonderful lecture on essential oil bioperfumes in an elaborate manner and about the extraction methods and its importance of essential oil. Thank you, sir. Last but not the least, I extend my heartfelt thanks to all the participants for their kind participation in this session. And I also like to thank those persons who are directly and indirectly supported to organize this event. I thank one and all the persons who have supported this event and for giving me such an opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Hello. Hello.
Sendal? Vijay madam?
சார் சொல்லுங்க.
அது நாளைக்கு செஷன் மேடம் சொல்லிட்டுங்களா?
சொல்லுங்க.
சரி. All the participants are requested to join us by 9:45 a.m. and tomorrow for the first session will be handled by Dr. S. Manivannan on infectious disease immuno response to infection, and the second session will be handled by Dr. L. Vidyarani on topology and approach using intuitionistic sets. Thank you, Anandal. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.